Again, my friends. Well, welcome back to the cellar of dreams that is Leopard Street. It's a bit of a weird week this week. Normally, I do a video on Tuesday, which is what I did over the weekend, Thursday, which is what I did Wednesday, and sometimes a bit later into Tuesday. And there'll be one on Saturday, which is basically what I did, maybe a bit of Thursday and then Friday. This is because I'm not here Tuesday evenings, Thursday evenings, and most of Saturday. This week's a little bit odd. I'm filming this on Tuesday. I'm here on Tuesday. My gaming group is off. Somebody couldn't make it. So I'm down here. I've got some stuff to get on with. I'm here Thursday as well, but I'm not here Friday. And I'm not here Sunday. It's all getting a bit weird. So, what I'm going to do, the board the camera is sitting on, which as per the last video has got a few quirks, I'm going to carry on with. But I've also had some post. First off, this. This cork. The board has a strip down here. Now I've bought 3 rolls of this cork. I'm probably going to need 1 roll of it to do most of this because obviously it's going to get cut down to be a bit narrower. It's just easy to buy another box of the stuff I've had before. It's not that expensive. That's going in. That'll stop me putting lots of little dents in the XPS foam apart from anything else. I've got a lot of planning work to do at this end. So that's turned up. I've then also got, thanks to Steve and Gabby at Railway Scenics, more 1602 wire. I'm not associated with or affiliated with them. I'm just a happy customer. And a load of 702 in black, which I found out after I ordered it. I've actually got about 6 reels of this stuff, but it's worth getting. So that's it for post. Jobs for tonight. I'm going to remake the TLC 5947 board. I've done a little bit more experimentation with it. I can turn on any LED, any of the 6, no problems. If I turn off channel 1, or I set it to a brightness below 50%, all the outputs turn off. There are 2 solutions to this. One is don't use channel 0. Just take the wire out, plug it into a different one. That's one option. The other option is to just change the board for another board. I've got a few more of them now. So I'm going to build another one. I'm going to fit another one. And hopefully that's going to work. I'm also going to finish wiring up the DTC8. And for those of you who are thinking, oh God, a wiring video, I'm doing all that off camera. What I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get this stuff done. Then we're going to come back and we're going to look at how it works. The gluing of the foam is, the cork may or may not get done today. I suspect that's not going to get done today, but I've got it. So, without further ado, I'm going to get on with this. I'll be back in a couple of minutes for yourselves there very quickly. And we'll have a look and see how far I've got. This is Leopard Street. Right, in theory, that's the wiring done. Just a quick note before I turn this thing back over. If anyone out there is the sort of person who writes, model railway planning software, don't just think about track, think about all of this. A lot of time goes into thinking of where you're going to put track, where you're going to put points. So I'm thinking, I can't put points because there's a beam like this in the way, or there's a board edge, or whatever. A little bit more planning, I think, potentially would be useful here. This has obviously been put together in stages. It would probably have been a lot better to put all of the track in, and then put all of the point motors in, then work out where all of the signals and the lights are going to go and put all of those in before any of this junction and connection cabling comes in. Because then you know where you can put it all. And perhaps you could consider where cable runs are going to go. Yeah, anyway. That's that's a rant for another day. Entirely self-inflicted wound there as well. So, let's get this board put back in, or at least try to. Preferably without destroying anything. That'd be nice. Let's just check. Yeah, I have reconnected the main power line, which is the one that was dangling loose in the last video. So this comes this way, hopefully. This is actually quite heavy. Right. I can slot over there. I now need to get my shoulder out from this end. Right. I now need to come over here and slide it. Lift that a bit up. Slight problem is it's not particularly well balanced either at the moment. What I need to do is lift that corner without lifting this end, if possible. Right, drop that down there, and slide that in there. Actually, it's this end here I need to slide it into. Do some testing. The lighting board was swapped as well. The next bit involves the multimeter and plugging it in. So I'm just going to nip under the board, because before I power this up, I want to just make sure that everything is connected the right way round, which is it should be, but I'm going to test it to find out. It's one of these you don't know until you test it things. So put it in continuity mode and untangle the wires on the meter. I don't know what it is with wires. So that one should connect to that one. Does. That one should connect to that one. Does. They should not connect to each other, which is correct. So that's a brown feed, goes over here. Oh, sorry, that's a point feed. Brown feed. Brown feed. Right. That seems about right. I'm going to finish putting the layout back together. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to see if the LEDs work any better. I'm going to drive some trains. Catch you in a moment. Okie dokie, back in. Now, this is the big test. Have I fixed the signalling problem? The only bit of code I've changed, I did a little bit of debugging. So when I turned this light off, it didn't go off, it went to half brightness. That worked. I've now modified that so this red light can go off. See the green glow over there. They also now react to the points. So that's a green light because this is a valid route. Or rather, there is a valid route from here. It could be going into here, it could be going up here, it could be going there, it could be going to the platform roads. Can't use the suburban roads at the moment because none of these 3 points are triggering their relay properly. I need to do a little bit more investigation on that one. That's for another day. And these 2 are set up to look at the departure roads. So what I'm going to do, since this one was the one that's the problem, I'm going to change a point over here and we're going to see if it works. Goes green. And it goes red again, which I'm happy about. The other road goes green, and the input signal has gone red at the same time. I can do that. Input signal goes green again. You notice there's a little bit of a delay. This is because when these points switch, they've got a virtual sensor. Essentially, the code pretends there are 2 switches. So when the point is currently set for the diverging route, so it's currently thrown. If I tell it to close, the first thing that happens is the sensor on this side says, I'm no longer in contact. It then moves. When it's finished moving, the sensor on this side said, I am in contact. So you have a little bit of time in the middle where the point status is ambiguous. And JMRI picks that up as train cannot drive over this point. There's a hair on here. That's one of mine. Let's get my hair cut. Anyway, next job is going to be to try and bring a train in. Now I've got Chamoisière set up, and behind Chamoisière is Thomas. So I'm going to try and bring them both up. Let's have a little look. First thing I need to do is shut down my Arduino software because I don't need that. So track power on. Track power is on. No smoke has escaped yet. Give me a throttle. As you can't see this because it's on my screen behind me, but we're going to go here. I'm going to go Shamoth. Yeah. I'm going to bring her up, and this should trigger the block detection. Should. Here she comes. A little bit slowly, but there we go. She's going to go round the far end. You'll see her come into view in a sec. The signal's just gone red as she comes round. And here she comes. So what I'm hoping is I get some track on here goes red to show it's gone live. I've got one bit that's gone red to show live. I've got another bit. Oh, yay. Right. So just stop her there. Come over here. This bit is now showing red, as is all of up here. Forget these bits. This is board M and its controller's knackered. I need to change that. This bit here is the station throat, and it's all one block. So if we look on here, from here there's a little bit there. From here all the way over the double slip and all up these 3 points and this bit are all one block. I mean, in theory, that should probably be split about there. I'm not relaying it. All it means is I can't. If I have a locomotive sitting on this bit, it'll say all of this is occupied. I can't really have one any further forward than there because it'll foul the point. But a little bit there. I mean, they're quite long roads. I'm not that bothered. But that is showing occupied. So I'm now going to. I'll bring her in the rest of the way. And it'll go unoccupied because the block she's just moved on to is not connected to anything yet. Well, it's connected to power, but it's not connected to anything else. So she's going to rumble round. She's going to have to move right up to the end. Basically, so I can make a little bit of space for his Royal Thomasness. That'll do. So, release! And we're going to go back to Thomas the Tank Engine, who is right at the bottom. Rather unfortunately, it doesn't have space inside for a sound decoder. It's a little bit of a pity, but never mind. Come on, up you come. Starting a little bit. The signal over there is green, even though this platform is occupied. This is basically because I've not got them interfacing with the block detection yet. That's a job for another day. So here comes Thomas. Comparatively noisy, actually. But Thomas is going to come in and do a little bit of further testing for me. Yes, I've got to adjust the acceleration and braking settings on there. Right, pretend we are about to depart, although in practice we're just going on to another track. Goes there. That's changed the wrong bit of the double slip, that bit. So now I have a green light there. For this light to be green, the slip has got to be set to depart. This point has got to be set for that route, and that point has got to be set for the main line. I'm using them to tell me I've got a route set. So if that one's showing red, I know I cannot drive a train in because basically this slip is set against it. Any of the roads it could go into could be valid, but the slip is set against it. So, Mr. Tank Engine, backwards you go. I'm going to have to reprogram to make Thomas here a little bit more responsive. There's a brake function that I'm not entirely sure does a great deal, but never mind. So Thomas can go down there, reset that slip. So again, that goes red. Now, technically, this one's got a valid route, but it's onto the arrival line. That's wrong way running if it goes that way. Red signal. This one's gone green because if there was a train here, it could depart. So I'm going to bring Mr. Tank Engine back in. Start off with a low speed. Thomas is actually quite hard to drive. just because I've not played with the decoder settings. He's got quite a slow acceleration. So there we go. Here he comes with his eyes moving, which is quite. I like that. It's very silly, but I do quite like it. So Thomas can come in. I'm going to manually turn Thomas for departure. So if I put you over here for a second, because if I don't, basically I can't reach him. So I'm going to take that off there. I don't have the shunting locos set up at the minute. But that goes there. And this little platform is just long enough for a really useful little train. I'm trying to avoid looking at the TMD, which is currently rather crammed. There's, well, I'll show you. Since it works now, although I haven't actually set the turntable up since I fired the layout up because I'm not using it at the minute. So yeah, I've got 4 locos sitting in here and some coaches. Coaches are here because I had to take that board out, which meant I needed somewhere for them to live. Seems reasonable. But here we go. Now I can't, at the moment, run trains around the reversing loop because it's not there. Now I know this works, I can put that back in. We do have some other changes coming up here at Leopard Street, however. This week, crank that back up a little bit. This week, in fact tomorrow, the internet here is being replaced. They're basically pulling out all the copper phone wires around here, so I'm going to get fibre optic. What could possibly go wrong? What this means is the really, really rubbish SkyQ router that sits about a metre above there is going, and it's being replaced with a new one. So I'm hoping that will have a Wi-Fi signal strength greater than about a metre. All the boards on here have got antennas. I'm just hoping the things are going to work a little bit more reliably. It'll be faster. You'll not notice anything down here. I have tried suggestion from Endor. I'm very sorry, I've forgotten your actual name. Anyway, it suggested put the server, which is as well the MQTT stuff here, on what's called a static IP address. And what that means is it doesn't change. It's static. Everything here is on a dynamic address, but all of these boards have got the address of that server coded into them. So if that changes, I've got to reprogram everything. From the one that will actually be really irritating to do is the Arduino Mega that drives the layout. Because I don't have a lead long enough to get to it, I'd actually have to take the boards off and start unscrewing things to redo that. I found a way, I think, of setting that onto a static address. We will find out tomorrow. I've also, there is another little bit of post that turned up that I didn't show, mostly because it's under just about everything at this end. Remember I was talking about building a goods yard? I've got a good shed kit, so I'm going to be putting that together in the near future. Got to go together because I need it for planning the yard out. I've got this layout laid out in Extract CAD, which is what I used to come up with the idea to see whether the stuff would fit. It's not exactly been built as per Extract CAD. This isn't a set track layout, so where curves are doesn't exactly match where they were drawn out to be. I didn't decide I'm going to print out the layout. It's 12 foot by 7. There's a lot of bits of paper involved in that, especially given it's on 2 levels. I probably should have done because I could have cut the boards a bit more accurately if I did. Planning, another thing. Right, anyway, enough of that. What I'm going to do is, I just realised I can't run trains around on the main loops. Reason being, they're all full. What I was going to do was send Thomas out round on an out and back, but of course the middle bit's not there, so that'll have to wait. So this has been a comparatively quick update. One of two things is now going to happen. I'm either going to cut away and I'm going to come back in with a thank you for seeing, I'll see you all in the next video thing, or I'm going to cut away and I'm going to come back, and that middle bit will be in because this will be tomorrow, basically Wednesday. That middle bit will be in and everything will still be working and I can then run some trains. The next bits on the layout, there's a DTC8 on order which will basically power up this piece of track here, and it'll give me 7 spare channels which I'll use when I do the goods yard, but it'll be in. The next job, and I'm not ordering it until I've got that one here and I've got it built, is basically to do what I've done on here to that board. But in the meantime, can't get to it, it's in a box. Again, thanks to Gabby and Steve at Model Railway Scenics, or Railway Scenics, sorry. Again, not affiliated, I'm just a really happy customer. They do a cracking job at sending stuff out. And I ordered some wire Sunday, because I realised I'd run out. Yeah, it arrived this morning. I can't fault it, really. What I need to do is, if we come down here, now you can see over there a little loop of wire hanging down. Oh, some time ago, I replaced the DC black wire, the orange 12 volt and the red 5 volt, sorry about that, with wires to my new power distribution panel. What I'm going to do, and this is what I think will solve this relay chattering issue, I'm going to do the same thing with the 5 volt power. If you remember I don't know how long ago it was, I was having some trouble with the ESP32s resetting as they power dipped and things dropped. And basically I replaced the wiring with all the multitude of connectors between the boards. It's now all hardwired. I've not had that issue since. I suspect that's the same problem on the relay coils. In fact, I'm just going to measure the voltage getting to this board, and that one. Because I suspect it's probably not that bad, but yeah, it's 5 volts, so it should be all right. But what I'm suspecting is happening is 5 volts that can't quite deliver the correct amount of current because of all the connectors. So that's another job. Depending on how the internet thing goes, I might get that done tomorrow night and then we'll come back. If that doesn't work, I need to have a bit of a rethink to do something on these relays. It's strange. The board for the relays at this side works. The relays at this side, they work, but they don't pull in properly. If they're pulled in, if I tap, set the point right and I tap them, they pull in. When I release them, they then release, but they don't come back. What this says is basically the coil is not getting enough power. I've had a little look online. Now, these boards have these little black things. These are opto-isolators. What that means is it's got a little LED, it's a little photo sensor. Basically, it's an opto, it's visual isolator. Yeah. I think what's happening is there's a little transistor on here that drives the relays. I'll do a circuit diagram at some point. And so, I've seen some people online saying if you're driving this thing on 3.3 volts, which I am doing, sometimes those relays don't, the transistor doesn't conduct fully. So the slight annoyances, I mean, it should be fine because the power side of this is 5 volts. That should work. The opto isolator should be able to turn it on enough. It's possible the resistor value on this for that opto isolator is a little bit high for 3.3 volt operation. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to go in, desolder all of the appropriate resistors. And as you can see, they're tiny little things. Get that to focus in the middle somewhere. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, these little black things that are horizontal, they're running vertically along there in a line. I'll have to desolder some of those and redo them. However, I suspect that's not the problem because the rest of the layout works perfectly. This this board is at the end of the chain. Power comes in over there, comes in on board C. It's a ring. It goes E, H, G, and then up to L. Or it goes B, A, D, F, G, up to L. That's a lot of connectors. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cut away to whatever follows this. I'll see you in a minute. Mm-hmm. Hello. It is now Wednesday. Now, what this means is the very nice man from Sky has been and has upgraded the interwibble here at Leopard Towers to fibre optic. Welcome to the 21st century. Yeah. Anyway, not entirely hassle-free. Basically, the router couldn't go where the old one was, which was something that the guy on the phone had neglected to mention. If you're getting fibre installed, apparently they have to put the router where you have a power socket. Our old one wasn't. It was near the phone socket, which had no power socket anywhere near it. So it's now in a different location. I've had to reload a load of wiring and so on and so forth. However, the good news, my attempt of Endor Model Railway, I've still forgotten your name, but thank you very much for the suggestion of going to a static IP. That seems to have worked, which means the layout seems to be working, or the MQTT side of the layout seems to be working. I've still got issues with one of these boards. I've actually been around the other side and I've had a little look. They've got a little LED on them. It shows when the channels are up. And the LEDs are come on. They're obviously flickering. Now that's useful information because what that means is the relay side and the power to the relay is probably working fine. It's the control signal to it that isn't. This is information I'll have to process. However, one thing I did have to do, which I knew I was going to have to do, the Arduino, which lives over here, come around here, turn around, under here, I'll put it like that, so you can see that little screen. There is an Arduino Mega, which runs this layout. Yeah, see the little screen there. Now that screen, very helpfully set up by the people at DCCEX, tells me the thing's Wi-Fi address. The only thing I've had to do, and I'm really pleased about this, off the back of what Endor told me, and I've got that configured, which is a tale in and of itself. But anyway, the only thing I've had to do is tell JMRI about the new address on that, and it's gone from 78 to 28. Okay, fine, whatever. Everything else seems to be working. Seems to be working. So let's test it, because that's the only thing we can do. What I've got over here, I have Chamossière in the Arrivals Road. Now, as per what Kelly was mentioning in a comment on a previous video of mine, she probably needs testing a bit more on her own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncouple her, and I'm going to put the coaches in the departure road. Another locomotive is going to arrive, and I'm going to run that. So I'm going to set you over here somewhere so you can see this. Hopefully see a bit more of it. The signals are working. You'll see them as we go around. I need to uncouple at this end. I need to uncouple Bucky from the camera coach. And I will be doing more work with that. Getting Bucky out of there is going to be a tad interesting, but doable. Because I now have to find the relays under here. Tap them to get it to change, otherwise you can't get out of that road. But there we go, never mind. So, where are we? J39, sound on. Some reason has decided not to. And again has decided not to. Right, okay. So, I may not have full power set up. Let's try another loco. I'm going to go with Flying Scotsman because she's usually a good reliable runner. And she's not running either. So track power off. Track power on. I'm going to guess I have another configuration error. What tends to happen with JMRI, just turn this around and point you at the screen. If you go into defaults, yeah, throttles have changed to be MQTT instead of DCC++. So hit save on that, hit restart. This is something to be aware of with JMRI. Every now and again, you'll get little things like this where it'll go, I've forgotten what I was doing. Oh, whatever. It's software you don't pay for, so there's a limit to how much you can complain about this. Track power off, track power on, roster, tools, throttles, new throttle. Let's try this again. Bucky the loud engine, here we are. We have noise, she's coming. You all right? She's all right. Reverse, and I need to change a couple of points. As yet, those roads don't have working signals, but I can cope with that. Just need to be ready in case the point relay here hasn't quite worked. As Bucky comes back, that's working. Or by the sound of that, it wasn't working. Yeah, it wasn't working, but she drove straight over it anyway, like a champ. Never mind. So, forwards. I'm going to bring her in and collect these. And here we go. It occurred to me, I need more cameras for this layout. Whether they end up as being more little ESP32 cameras or let's get some cheap Wi-Fi security cameras. Something like that anyway. Just so I can spread them around a bit. And then when I'm doing a video like this, I've got like four or five viewpoints I can look at. The brakes because she's busy pushing. Right. Uncouple at the other end. Which means shifting some wagons that are lurking down here out of the way. As per a previous video of mine, I have a tendency to use open wagons to store things. Right, here we go. Can she bring those back now? Yes. There we are. So, bring them back. Do need to get the uncouplers working. But I'll put my hand there. You can see there's a green signal because the route out is set. That one has a red signal. as I've said, this is actually quite useful just for me operating the thing. I was thinking I could do some little ground signals, like little ones down here. This road will obviously have a starter signal, but it'll be back here somewhere where the platform is. It could do with a little shunting signal down here. The problem is, mechanical shunting signals are a bit of a pain. I'm trying to make them work as a non-starter. And yes, you can get colour light little ground signals. They tend to be huge, so I may have to have a little look at making some of my own. Yeah, forwards. Here we go. And she's going to come up in a minute. She would have come up in a minute, but she's actually lost connectivity with the layout. There we go. More track cleaning. Incidentally, recommendations for a track cleaning wagon of some sort welcomed. I've seen the Dapol one with the vacuum cleaner. I'm not particularly impressed with that. What I want is something that's got like a felt pad that I can load up with IPA, couple up to a freight loco, and just have it wander around for a bit. So if you have recommendations for that, I'm all ears. So this is just going to be a very quick little session. I'm just going to set the train up. The next video is probably going to be a pure running session. Tonight is really just, I want to see if I can get this to work. I have to think about those relays again and see what I can do with those. Here she comes. It's really nice having this. There is a new arrival on order. As some of you may know, I get various bits and pieces from Rails of Sheffield. And this morning they sent out an email about the Hornby J52, the new one. Ooh, I thought I'll have a little look at that. Now, it's not the sound fitted one. For reasons I probably mentioned before, I don't like the, well, firstly, the Rails, the one on offer wasn't the sound fitted one, which sort of kiboshed it anyway. I don't like the HM7000. So, yeah. So I've got a silent J52 and a suitable decoder coming. That means I'm going to break out the circle of track again, because she's arriving as a DC loco. Anyway, I'm just going to run Bucky back over here out of the way, because the suburban platforms, the point work is not working properly at the moment. Everything this side of the layout is working fine. The block detection is fine. I have, for a Merg, another DTC8, which is going to go on this board when I build it. So, yeah, anyway. This has been Leopard Street. I've got some signalling working, and it is working now. Again, basically suffering from what you could sort of call Chinesium grade components. A little bit annoying, but there we go. Yeah. Something of note though, if you do build anything like that and you find something's not working quite right, instead of pulling your hair out, try changing the board. Because you may find it's just the board. So, yeah. Anyway, all I'm going to do between now and the next video is I'm going to lay a bit of cork, which I'm going to do shortly. And that'll be that. So, I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Likes, comments, shares, etc. more than welcome. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and goodbye. Train. Happy train. Well, deal with it.